Hey, 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 hey!
Good afternoon, good evening, good night, or good morning, depending on where in the world you're watching this very special time difference show.
That's right. So, Keith, where are we venturing off to in today's episode?
Well, buckle up, because we're taking a virtual trip down under to Sydney, Australia, to chat with the one and only Chris Adamo.
That's right. He's the father of organic balloon decor and a bona fide Aussie balloon genius. From judging on blow up to conquering the corporate market, he's done it all.
But before that,
there's this. Should have been practicing my Aussie accent.
Yeah, or fair dinkum.
I mean, to be fair, all of my accents generally
don't go Aussie.
Slide slightly into Welsh/Australian.
So what can we say about today's guest, Dom?
Well, some say he can communicate with balloons in their native language, and he once created a balloon masterpiece so grand that it was mistaken for a new mountain range.
Some say that he's the Crocodile Dundee of the balloon world, and that even Mick Dundee himself once came to him for advice on how to wrangle balloons in the outback.
All we know is his name is Chris Adamo.
Let's get him on.
Right. Let's check if he's ready in the wings there.
I can see a smile.
And here, and here, and if we're
and
ready,
then, here we go.
Slide on over. There he is. We haven't got volume on. Oh, we have.
Oh, we have.
G'day,
welcome,
boys.
Chris. Good day, mate.
How you doing?
Yeah. We're doing.
That's not a knife. This is a knife. We should have the balloon knife.
Oh, that would have been quite amusing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a knife. This is a pen.
We had this question yesterday, Chris. I need this cleared up.
What's that?
So that hat that you were wearing, I would say that's an Australian hat. Would you just call it a hat?
Yeah, that's a kangaroo, right? It's certainly not from Manchester. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, but would you say, "Oh, where's my Australian hat," or would you just say, "Where's my hat"?
Yeah. Actually, funnily enough, this is a hat I own. It is not a fancy dress prop. This is what I wear when I'm out and about. And it's just like I've had too much sun. We do a lot of camping, a lot of outdoors, and that is now, and the kids as well have Akubra hats cruising around. They're the coolest ones of all. You still get your baseball caps and whatever, but that is the in thing now. Okay. And as people watch this in 3 weeks' time, they'll say, "No, that's changed. It's already moved."
So,
like the yo-yo.
Okay, so what?
I'll be wearing it.
We have a question. Did somebody come and did they cut off all your corks? Is that why?
All the corks. No, yeah. I needed those corks for my beer, mate.
Hang on, no. So you're saying you reseal beer? That's not the Australian way.
Yeah. I did think about somehow attaching some kind of a balloon cork or something just to be absolutely ridiculous, but I ran out of time.
Yeah. No, we try to keep things pretty serious on this show.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We also have the best ideas right at the end.
A few people messaged me saying, "I didn't realize you could be silly." I think I'm always too serious in when I teach, or certainly on the social environment, Facebook and otherwise. I'm always giving tips and being all proper. So it was nice. Good.
Yeah.
It reminded me, actually, I don't know if you guys remember it, that video Sue Bowler and I did for the, what was it? The package, what was it called? The surprise, you had to blow up balloons that came in a little package.
Oh, yeah. The mystery box.
Mystery box competition. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. And Sue and I were at the Australian Balloon Convention, and we decided to do like a little Rocky Balboa sort of montage, the little build up and the exercise, the video montage was fantastic. We're like eating 260 Qs for breakfast.
Yeah.
I think that was the last time I actually got to be a little bit silly. So
yeah. I think you did when you wore that wig for the Q Corner convention.
Yeah, when you were playing guitar and wearing the wig.
Yes, that's right. And what was the thing that you guys did?
Always look on the bright side. Well, you sent us a serious video and then we put a filter on it.
Yes. No, but also you, when you were in Australia, you had some sort of competition. I remember being on the ground having to pick stuff. What was that?
So, I was about to say this one. I do remember we had a bogus competition that everybody at that event knew
was a bogus
competition.
Apart from you.
and we'd set
Apart
up,
from me.
and it was how was it? We were
It was how to keep, because it was using your electric inflator, your Makita
That's
inflators,
yeah,
and it was to keep a 3-footer in the air for the longest, and it was you versus me.
and it was built up over the day, and we were live. It's still on the channel, and it was 3, 2, 1, go. But you did like all boys do, press the trigger early,
and we'd filled it full of gold confetti.
Gold confetti. That's it.
That
And then-
hotel.
that hotel.
I wrote on the post. Mine was one of the first little messages on this YouTube video saying, "Be kind," because you guys certainly you've made an art form out of making fun out of me. So
No, it's not just you. Don't think you're special.
maybe I think I'm just easy cannon fodder. Maybe. That's it.
No, we wouldn't say that.
Anyway, no,
Shooting fish in a barrel probably is the. Anyway, yeah.
I'm privileged to be here, and it's really exciting. Thank you.
We really appreciate you doing the video as well, Chris, because we had an idea of doing it like over Aussie in it and stuff, and obviously we sent you some kind of ideas, and we weren't sure if you would go for it, and you embraced it, 100%. Went for it, and dialed it up to 11. So thank you very much. People loved the video. So
yeah. I mean, we must have watched it about 50 times.
Even my
you can be a snake.
Yeah, my daughter doesn't. My daughter doesn't watch the Balloon channel as for much of things, but she watched that video and it even made her laugh. So there you go. Well done.
Yeah.
Good.
There's some good camera work as well. Yeah,
credit to the camera person.
Yep. So Amber, thank you.
I think Amber actually sold that for you. I think without good camera work, you'd have been nothing. It'd have been flat.
Yeah. It turned it into a piece of art.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So we have some. We've got loads of questions, of questions.
Yeah.
And most of them are good.
Yeah, we're going to ask a few questions. Yeah. So,
well, I'm apprehensively excited, and good to see a couple of people. Colin Stewart, hello, sir.
Yeah, Colin was trying to get in on really early this morning. I think he stayed up all night, especially for this.
He's super excited.
And happy birthday for the other day,
Mr.
Stewart. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, mate. Yeah. Long time. Too
20...
long between Guinness.
I think you mean it long time as in he's old, Chris.
No, well, that too. That's the natural occurrence of things.
Honestly, Colin, we don't think you're a day over 21.
And we hope the check's in the post.
Right.
Okay. So, let's talk about a bit about your backstory and how you got into balloons. And obviously, it says we got on your background that you're a son of a certified balloon artist. How was that going?
Yeah, which is, through all my travels, that's actually not uncommon. I love the idea that this business, can pass down from generation to generation, or the skill, as it were, and I think we miss a little bit of that. And as I go through, I do see a lot of daughters and mums and sons and fathers, and a lot of this sort of passing down of the art form. And I certainly wasn't amiss of that. My mother was a florist when I was very, very young, and both my parents were small business owners. But she, as a florist, eventually started doing balloons. Then she had 3 flower businesses, separate retail businesses back in the early 90s. And one of them, a fourth one that she opened in Sydney, started doing balloons. And that's when I was sort of at an age where I wanted to get some casual part-time work. And
wanted the money.
50-50 balloons. Yeah, need it. And 50-50 balloons, which led to more, probably like 80-20 by the time she sold the business. She closed the other flower businesses, did a little bit of flowers, mostly balloons. And that's just, I think, a great example of just how profitable the balloon industry can be. Non-perishable as well, which was a huge deal.
Yeah.
But that was a big sell to transition over.
Yeah, she actually taught at IBAC,
right?
I believe, in the 90s. Yeah, over in America somewhere.
Yeah, that was before our time. I wasn't born then, so
yeah.
What? Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks,
so
Chris.
you weren't born before 1996.
Yeah,
I'll believe it. Those British good looks.
Well, absolutely.
Those Umpa-Lumpers, Chris.
I said before that I wasn't going to wear the same shirt as you guys, so we don't look like 3 Oompa Loompas, and somehow you took offense. Didn't mean it that way.
Well, the thing is that it's because you're well over 6 foot and we are not. As the
collectively.
Yeah, I still remember the Eiffel Tower, Empire State Building.
How tall?
We had the
Burj Khalifa there as well. You were just under the Burj Khalifa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why I need counselling to get through the years and years of constant ridicule.
Yeah.
Did you remember the neck braces that we wore as well? From working with you, from looking up all the time. That was early days. That was about 5 years ago.
I know. We'll have to dig out that video and reshare it on this, I think.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, we'll find that one. That was a good one. 350Q neck braces. So versatile.
So, when did you realize that you wanted to actually make your own business? Did you just slide into it from there, or did you go straight in from doing balloons with your mom and then, or no? Or?
Yeah, great question. And I think it's important to sort of mark this distinction, which I think is quite different. I came into the business as a businessman, not as a artist or someone who was at the time exceptionally passionate about balloons, which is, I think, quite different to most people's journey. The passion grew later, and boy, did it ever. I really caught up for lost time. But my mother sold her business in 99 or 2000. And I traveled around Australia for a little bit. Got my hat. No,
Nice.
But we went to Ayers Rock and did all that kind of stuff, and spent a bit of time in Fiji, and came back, and I'd spent a little bit of time in web. I studied computing science at uni. Hated it. Hated the idea of being a database administrator or whatever it is. So I got a job in web. Very exciting. Yeah. Web and graphic design. And although that was more creative, I still hated being behind a computer. So the only other thing I knew was the balloon business. Worked for mum a little bit more full-time. She sold it, traveled, came back and started my own. And God bless mum, she wouldn't give me a deal. I wanted to buy it. She wouldn't. I'm one of 4. So it was top dollar, right? But it was the best thing that ever happened, because I feel that I wasn't following her legacy. Everything I started was with my own unique flavor. And I certainly brought a lot of my IT background. It was pretty much online at first, for the first year, and then I opened a retail store. But I kept the online presence, and I really pushed that. And I was an early interventioner in balloon bouquet gift deliveries through online sales. Mm-hmm. So my mother's business in 97, I built the first online store for her, and we were faxing orders, relaying them all around Melbourne, Brisbane, and other places. Nice. Right? So we'd print it out. So yeah, I've probably had about 5 different online stores. The first one was 1997. So we
may have to drop a little Wikipedia link into what a fax is for some of our audience. It's like email people.
That's how it started. I could talk for half an hour about that whole journey, but maybe we'll get to it as we talk.
Yeah, well, that's really interesting though as well, because we see a lot of that where there's a lot of creative people come in and then they're having to find the business skills. Whereas you and like ourselves as well, we didn't come in looking to do balloons. That kind of developed, and like you said, the passion developed after that, but having a different background and different flavour.
Yeah, I think we were blessed in a way to start a business from a business perspective, right? Because we think about it completely differently. It has to be profitable, boom, straight away, right? And what do we need to do to get that in place? But if the creativity doesn't come throughout your journey, I think you won't also be successful. You need both. And I would argue perhaps that being business minded and being able to multitask in that way that successful entrepreneurs do is probably harder than the base level of creativity needed to be a balloon artist. Here we go. Maybe people might disagree, but I think it made it easier for me coming to it from that angle.
Yeah. But you're exactly right for the total business world with no creativity, because we've seen lots of, we've had this conversation with independents, why a big multiple brand will take on balloons but not be as successful as an independent, and that's because
the passion
and the creativity is not there. It's just purely business driven without the passion. So it doesn't have that.
Have the balance.
Yeah. So that's exactly right.
So what we're going to do is we're going to switch things up a bit. We're going to go to an image question Okay, so what we got to do is we've got our first image. We're gonna
first test.
Yeah, all it is that it's we've changed the image very slightly. Okay, and all you have to do is just tell us where this image was taken and what was going on at this time.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
cool.
so
now, full transparency. I have no idea what's happening. I thought that these guys would give me a little heads up. All right, well, in the 10th minute we'll do this.
To be fair, we didn't know, so we.
And if anybody knows us, this is
right. So
we're not going to be that nice. Right.
So where was this taken? What's going on, Chris?
Are we ready?
Yeah.
The anticipation.
Okay. This is when you guys asked me to do this interview. I was out at. So this is Blow Up, season 1, the Australian version of Blow Up on Channel 7. The photo was taken during I think it was the finale. Yeah, I think I was wearing that. No, it wasn't the finale. It was maybe episode 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And we just had some camera people come through. They wanted to get a couple of shots for promotional purposes. And damn, that one in particular. So we're just doing different things. I think I was like, I don't, like you guys have been there. You've done it.
It's called regret, Chris. It's called regret.
Can you remember Can you remember the scene? Because obviously you weren't standing against a white background. So can you remember?
Well, it was the balloon library behind me.
Oh, let's have a look. See if he's right.
Yay! Yeah. I wonder if it's.
It couldn't be called the balloon pit. Was that my fan?
Backstory there.
Backstory, yeah. Okay, excellent. Well done on your first picture question, getting that right.
Good. 1 from 1.
Okay.
Right. Another normal question before we go to another picture.
Yeah, okay. So from Sydney to worldwide acclaim, what's been the most surprising part of your journey so far?
Okay, well, surprise. That's a tough one. Can I surprise?
Well, we'll get the surprise look like this.
Yeah, that. Look, I'm going to say it will be gratifying. Okay, so in a way, what's the most gratifying? Because I was surprised that I would be gratified in this way. Okay, if that's a way of me answering, because the first thing that popped in my head is I never ever thought when I bought a van and started this business that at some point in time in my life, in my moment, in my journey in this career, would I be able to help, assist, inspire, guide, or just be a shoulder to listen to others in their journey.
Yeah.
And it sounds okay. That's cool. But that role actually changes people's lives in a way. So you guys have experienced too. I'm sure many more times than I, because you guys have been doing this for a very long time. But even before I was an instructor. Even before I was an instructor, which was just a wonderful opportunity. Thank you, Politics. I was there at the precipice of many different sort of step ups in this industry, and that was at the time when I was really posting and it was quite socially engaged, and I had the opportunity for people to message and ask questions or just to lean on at a moment of uncertainty that they were in their job, their pitch, their business, whatever it may be. So to answer your question, yes, certainly. I never, ever thought that I could give in the way that I've been able to in being a person of influence, perhaps in the industry or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Ooh,
and to me, that is the most gratifying thing that I never saw coming. And it gives me so much pleasure and happiness to do.
Yeah, we completely get it. It's nice when people come up to you and thank you for something that you've helped them with, or that you just see them.
It catches you off guard. Even though we were in that, I think in the moment we didn't even realize that was happening.
Yeah.
And the couple of situations that happened to us were people who were well situated now in the business. And they're talking to us just in recent years saying, oh, yeah, one of my first classes was this one I went to and you were at and you said this, something, and what did we say?
Derek Wong. That was
Derek Wong was one, yeah.
We were his very first class that he ever went to as a balloon artist. And
then we're looking at his work going, oh, wow, that guy is so good.
He's so talented. He's an amazing guy.
We should meet him one day.
Yeah.
No, I was in your class. Oh.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
And the guys from Kansas City as well. You know, like we took them through their CBA exam and everything as well. And it's like, it's just amazing. You know, we were he actually came up to me and talked to me at the Balloon Wonderland because he was talking to me. I had no memory of that actually happening, but he needed help with his CBA exam, and I took him to the side because he was starting to get a bit anxious and things over it, and I just talked him through. Is it just, you know, we want everybody to pass a CBA exam. You know, you've got to reach a certain level, but you've got to just take your time and step back and have a little look at your work, make sure everything's all right. And he said that it really made a huge difference to him at that time. And I'm like, it's just such a little thing, right? That certain things that we do that we just almost forget about, take for granted or something, and it can mean the world to somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everyone's so isolated. Less so now, but certainly, you know, to start your own business, you know, we had an event in Sydney only a few weeks ago, and I met so many new faces. Yeah. And these people had started just by themselves, perhaps on YouTube or whatever it may be. But this is not just a business; it's a job, it's a livelihood, it's a passion.
There's a community there, though.
Well, yeah, and it means so much, and therefore it's very stressful if you're unhinged in a thing.
If you're unhinged, yeah. Yeah, that's us.
That's the whole balloon industry.
Yeah,
but you know, if you get stuck somewhere, and it could be a simple thing like you chatting about the QBA, the CBA, right? Just that one little tip that you gave at that moment, and it could be so simple for us, but it's a huge responsibility and an honor. And you know, I won't go into it more, but that is something I never ever thought I'd be able to experience in my life.
So you touched on. You touched on becoming an instructor as well. So how did that happen? How did it, like, where was the first place you taught? Like, I know the pub because it was a local pub here that we were asked to teach with Qualitex, and I can put it back to every time I go past that pub, I know that was the first place that I ever taught. I know which class I taught and everything. It's like, So how did it happen to you?
It was a balloon class at the pub.
It was actually a balloon class, yeah, but it was in the function room of a pub, right?
It's a UK thing. It's it's totally fine.
Yeah. I'm sure we all learn many things at pubs. Now, for me, I started a group called the Australian and later New Zealand Balloon Decorators Facebook group.
Yeah,
just a short name, easy to put on a business card. And,
so where did you get your inspiration for that name?
Very cryptic, isn't it?
Yeah.
But, it's like a yellow frill. But so I started that group, and because it was lovely to have a smaller little group of like-minded people who were facing more localized issues of questions and supplies and whatever. And with that group, I remember somebody asked a question about something, and I created a little video to explain whatever it was. I forget now. And put it on that Facebook group, and a lot of people liked it and commented, and it seemed to really hit a chord. So then I put it on a YouTube channel that I created. Actually, it was my business YouTube channel at the time. And then that sort of one thing happened, and I did another video, and remember the confetti gun video?
Yes, the plastic tube with the absolutely. Yeah.
So when I created that, because confetti was all the rage, it was just sort of coming out as a big thing. And that video just sort of trended a little bit. It's nearly had like 1 million views now, but it got to about 500,000 in a year or so. And I think, funnily enough, off the back of that, I don't know if we would be chatting here today if I didn't create a YouTube video about how to build some PVC pipe for a confetti.
Put a doorstop on a piece of pipe.
Yeah.
I ended up teaching at Float Convention, the masterclass. Steve Jones, God love him, he just sort of said to me, would you like to do this class? Because organics was coming out as a thing, and we were right at the precipice of that. And that's perhaps another story. But he pretty much that video and the opportunity of having this masterclass while I was at Float was the everything getting into second, third, fourth gear for me. I was walking down the hallways in this hotel in St. Louis. And people are like, you're the confetti gun guy.
Yeah.
Okay, I am now.
Yeah, exactly.
It is. It's amazing. Yeah. These.
I remember Tina Giunta. Hi, Tina, if you're watching. She was an instructor for many years at that point. And, some people were pulling her up and saying, "Hi, Tina, I want to get a photo." But then we walked down the hallway together, and like 3 people wanted a photo with confetti gun guy, and no one knew who Tina was. I think she was a little bit upset.
Yeah, it's a random time.
What? Nobody wanted a picture with famous.
That's it.
Yeah.
I was working with a distributor in Israel, and we were just visiting some party stores. And the distributor was very impressed because I got recognized in this random party store we went in. How did they know you here? It's YouTube.
Yeah.
Power of YouTube.
It's got a huge reach.
Yeah.
Especially back in the day.
Yeah.
There was only a couple of people doing it.
Yeah.
Just to say a few highs there to hi South Africa there with Alfred, and hi to June, New Zealand, and hello Andrew, Veronique, and hello to everybody in the chat. It's,
hello.
good to see you. Right, let's do an image round.
Yes.
So what should we do? You choose. You want do you want inspiration or question round?
Ooh, can people type that in? Is it quick? Can we?
No, I'm asking you, not the.
Your
I'm
choice.
asking you.
Inspiration.
You want inspiration? Okay, let's go for one of our inspirational pictures. No, not the.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Well,
so we want you to talk about. Here's a photo of some of your work, and we want you to tell us about this.
Okay. Now, specifically inspiring people about this, or we're just talking?
Joe, this is an inspirational piece. If we go through a couple of the different shots from there.
This was an event, an art installation of sorts called Cherophobia. Now, it had been done before in the UK with John Bowler and Bappier and many people who helped with that. So I can't claim complete creative autonomy on this one.
So was that John in the chair then? You're saying it was done with John Bowler, so was that John in the chair?
Oh, yeah, John in the chair. That's him. Yeah. He dyed his hair back then.
Nice.
And Sue's in the background. You see her at the bottom right?
Yeah, that's her. Yeah. Hey, Sue.
Yeah, hi, Sue. Yeah. And that's me actually. I can see I'm up there.
Oh, were you there?
I was on the stage. Yeah, you go back. Yeah, that's me talking to my family. Look, there's Amber and my wife. Just
in the background.
They were chuffed to come up. So this is Sydney Opera House, the famous Sydney Opera House, the main concert hall. And it was probably 3-4 days of my time, but the event itself ran for 36 hours or so. And the whole idea was the artist, Natalie, I think her name was in the chair. She was paralyzed from the waist down. And it was her piece talking about fear of parties, which is the definition, I believe, of cherophobia. But it was also, her counteracting many forces at work, gravity being one of them. So we inflated, it was 18,500 balloons, all Qualitex 11-inch, and they were all high floated. Now, interestingly, there was a lot of work behind the scenes because when we inflated our very first balloon, that of course had a lot of lift loss over time. The helium would still dissipate through the high float. So I had to calculate the amount of lift loss on the 36 hour or so from the first balloon, and subsequently less lift loss from the next 2 or 3 hours and so on.
Yeah.
So we kind of needed to know how much, it was 100 kilo payload in total. And we needed to know roughly when takeoff would be. So we worked throughout the night, teams of 20, 5-hour shifts. I slept about 4 hours. We're inflating, high floating. My team was just pretty much walking around with sizes and checking the amount of high float and just quality control. It was wild. It was one of the first jobs where I really was involved with, a big organisation. It was called Festival of Dangerous Ideas, which was a huge event in Sydney.
Yeah,
it had many other types. But you come on board and you're treated as an artist, as a main contributor or producer, almost, assistant producer of that particular thing, and you get treated differently. It was the first time, well, not the first, but it was one of the larger platforms where I looked at my position in the arts more generally as different to just a balloon inflator and delivery guy, right? Even though I'd created many things by then, to be at this sort of level as top 3 people at that particular event that were making it happen. Everything rested on my prep, the team that I put together, and so on.
Your calculations,
but
just off the top of your head, what was that calculation?
Yeah, I can show you the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
It was spreadsheets of hour 1, 2, 3, and we created columns of 20 or so high floated, and just how much could we lift, right, from the first hour and then subsequent hours, and just sort of work backwards from there. But it was funny. There was an Austrian. He was a bondage expert.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And you're like, where are we going with this, Chris?
Yeah.
And he was the guy.
Get ready with the button up mute. Yeah, just
the way she was like bound to they had some sort of symbolism with historic methods of rope tying and all kinds of stuff. And that was a little bit beyond my pay grade, but nonetheless, the guy himself was an interesting fella, and he sized me up in the first few hours, and he thought, okay, I can work with this guy. He's a problem solver, and he lost his temper with like everybody else running the event. So like in the night of the first day and all of the second day, for any information to travel to him, who was really the main guy, because the artist was not speaking, bound, unable to go to the toilet, just in solitude. And so I was the conduit between the whole event and him. It was fun.
Nice. Just when you said he was sizing you up, I thought you meant with some rope.
I wasn't sure. We weren't sure where you were going. There's a question on there as well.
Heavier then.
Can you type in there? Because Chris, I know you're in the chat as well. Can you type the name of the event in the chat? It's just that somebody's asking the actual name of the event in there so they can check it out. And then what we can do is now that we've had an inspirational, there we go, Jason. Nice to see you join us from Malaysia.
Good.
Hey, we're going to go to our next image question, Chris. Are we ready? So what we want to do is, actually, I've got a bit of a question. I've got to say, what's missing from the photograph, and what's the story behind it? Because there's clearly a story.
So what's not there?
Okay. Oh God.
I would say a broom.
Okay, well, like Adam Sandler is not there. Firstly, but that is a terrible blue spiel. Oh God. Okay, I reckon this is either float convention or no. I'm pretty sure it's float convention, and this is the teacher's prep room,
right?
And I've made something. I don't know what the rest is.
You don't know what it is.
There.
What could it be?
It's not. It's not a balloon.
It's not. But it's St. Louis, right?
I don't know. It's your photograph.
Your photograph. I mean, there's black and orange balloons there, so that should be a clue.
That's got nothing to do with what you're holding, by the way. Dom just sent you the right down. Yeah. You got no idea?
I just saw him thinking like, what could it be then?
No, I got no idea.
Okay, here we go then. Ready?
Embarrassed by that photo.
Right, here we go.
I'm just so embarrassed by it.
It's not the worst coming up. You're fine.
Yes. That's great. That was my son gave that to me to take on holiday. And I sent him a couple of photos. So this is a photo for my son. It's all right.
There you go.
And we had lots of photos of Captain America on the airplane. He was like 2 or 3 at the time. So yeah, I sent him back lots of photos of his Captain America.
The Captain America looks a lot older than 2 and 3, though. Oh, do you mean your son?
Yeah. We saw all the photos of the different places and things that and I kind of had the idea that's exactly what it was.
We had a pump that used to do that.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. He doesn't care anymore now when I travel.
No.
Bye, Dad.
Totally get it, yeah.
We understand.
Yeah. Let's have a look on here. We've already covered that.
I'm still happy I got the place. I got half marks.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll give you that, yeah.
Okay, can you share the creative process behind one of your more memorable large-scale decor projects? How about the for the World Balloon Convention, the black and silver decor?
Yes.
So what kind of creative process did you go through that? Did you have a brief that said, you know what, it's got to be black and it's got to have lots of silver spikes in it? Or
Sure. Yeah. Look, that I've still got actually the plaque over there. That was one of my most enjoyable and sort of the thing that I did in which I'm very much most proud in this industry. Right. It resonates with me. I think about it monthly, at least, that particular event, because here I was in front of 1,000 balloon artists and really, really good ones. Very few people who just started turn up to a WBC. Chances are you're good, right?
Yeah.
So I got 1,000 people it was the 2018 event. And I applied to be a part of one of the main Décor. They said there was 3 events traditionally, but they added a 4th, being the after party for balloon artists to run the decorations, the decor for the space. So being the after party, the team at Qualitex at the time said, you have complete freedom, right? Of course, we're going to vet it. We're going to check it out. But there is no particular theme that you need to work with, which was just exceptionally daunting, but be awesome. Like I love the ability to do that. So the creative process on this particular one would be different for the average run-of-the-mill job.
Yeah,
I'm happy to sort of do that too. But in this one, I really knew that I had my work cut out for me, because I wasn't clients. Most clients love anything, right? If it's like, you did that, I'm like, man,
wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
You had a swell.
Yeah. How did you get all 3 of them at the right heights?
So in this case, I'm trying to impress 1,000 of the best decorators in the world, right? Imagine being like a dentist and just going, all right, I'm going to do the best, mole, extraction. So,
that's weird. You went straight for dentist there. That's a weird connection.
It was like pulling teeth.
But how do you show that? Is my point. It's such an odd, strange. So that particular one, I was racking my brain for a while. But what I did know was this: I don't like it when decor is, and you can rarely avoid this, but when decor is an add-on to a space.
Right.
You have the space and the decor as one. So I wanted to create an immersive experience in which people forgot where they were. So I wanted to consume the guests with the decor as more of a transitional effect, right? So you walk in and you're no longer in a ballroom. You're no longer in a hotel, right? So that the balloons act as not just decorations, but functionally completely transition the area. So we needed ceiling, we needed walls, we needed columns and lights and the whole kit and caboodle. And do you guys say that, kit and caboodle?
Yeah, kit and caboodle
over there.
Yeah. It's a real thing.
It is.
It's a thing. So in that one, I was seeking inspiration in many areas, but I saw the theatrical production of the Disney's Aladdin, right, at the State Theatre in Sydney, and there was the scene where Aladdin goes down into the
Cave of Wonders,
under the sand into the cave. Yes,
yeah,
and they pick up the lamp and everything starts going crazy. And the way that they did that in that particular set design was they had these like silver, it would have been plastic, but sort of like silver, sharp edges of sorts, the top and bottom. And when light was reflected off it, it was like blue, then red, then whatever. And then that created the chaotic scene and everything transformed by reflected light. So I knew that based off that was the first little hint of where I wanted to go with a theme of sorts, which was tapered foils, reflected light, big focus on the lighting as it will affect the balloons. So, and then, that transitional space, quick links, of course, no faster way to create a ceiling. But then we knew with limited rigging opportunities that I had to have some columns. So we created some organic columns to lift it up. So it just it started as a concept, but then what was functional, what was necessary to actually make it happen ended up being the add-ons to the decor, which were the columns and the stage background and other functional parts to it. But the tunnel, which was probably the coolest part about it, if you remember, we had multiple layers of quick links at 2 different sizes to force the arc that were attached in the method of which we just sort of compressed to 5-inch along 2 lines of links. So it was just a bit thinner and that worked quite well. That tunnel was sort of, I was going to have tapers just at the top, but then I started looking at the cross diagonal clean lines within that tunnel and the ability to place the tapers such that instead of it being linear, maybe of a height variation to give it texture, we ended up having it diagonally across the arc of the matrix of those lines in the tunnel. And that was completely accidental on the day. And I love just sort of winging it.
Going with it, yeah. It's going with it.
It's being fluid with the build, and you've got that concept, and you've got what you're trying to strive for. But we're always led by how things work out on the day to get the best. So it's having that ability to stand back and not necessarily stick with the original plan, and we factor that into our sort of prep time and ordering of we've got some flexibility here. If something can throw up on the day, we've got room to work with that.
It's especially organics. I always, if the client is available, and if the client isn't, I'll grab a staff or just take photos. I always love to just sort of flip it completely upside down. The client wants this, right? And I come in, I'm like, okay, cool. We've got 10 meters to do what they asked for, but I'm looking around for other ways. You never know, there might be a donut cart over there, or the entrance over here, or there's a certain lectern or a thing, or a fireplace or a window in which there's, you can work with. So I'm always looking around, and the first thing I'll do is I'll grab the client. I'm like, this is great. What you've got over here is wonderful, but I'll just grab my ladder and I'll just pull it. What do you think? It's worth it, because it's just paint at the end of the day. And until you're completely in the canvas and the canvas changes, you can do your site inspection if you do one. But until you're there on the day with the lights, with all the other components and the other elements in play, that's when the magic can happen.
Absolutely.
But just quickly on the design, if we have time, the design process, more generally, when it's not specifically something like that, let's think like more sculptural builds, balloon sculptures of could be any particular object. I love to do three things. The first is seek inspiration from others, right? I'm hand on heart. I love seeking inspiration from others, and it's not, I will never copy someone's work, but anyone who has been generous enough to share their work, to me, it's, I often will just sort of scroll Instagram for breakfast, right? With breakfast. And just, it's just that daily, wow, I didn't know you could do that, or never thought about this that way, or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
If you can just do a little bit of, you slowly digest it, and years and years of all of that information, you can now quickly perhaps collaborate little things that you might have seen many moons ago. So I might do a Google search on a particular keyword of the thing we're about to build. I'll look for anything I can see in balloons, but then I'll also keyword in anything real life. So if it's a guitar or an eagle or whatever it may be, I'll look at real life structure of that particular object and try and then work it out. The third part is to break it down into shapes, right? So just say it's a guitar or an ostrich or an emu. We can see the egg oval shape of the body and the this and the tail and the legs, and start to break down what techniques do I know that I'm comfortable with. Can I emulate that shape or that texture, and then start sort of piecing things together in my mind, or just stitch together in a big board or something.
It was actually I saw something that you posted recently regarding that, where you did the headphones and the musical instruments, especially, and it was really good. You could see that, because that was that last minute gig as well, I think it was. I was So I don't post very much these days because there's so much wonderful work out there, and I feel there's no point flooding with similar stuff that's out there. But however, I thought in that particular situation, because we built a saxophone, a guitar, headphones, and what was the other one? A microphone. And I couldn't find for the life of me many designs of those particular items that I liked. So I did seek some inspiration from a few things. I think Tommy DiLorenzo did some headphones that were quite similar. So I sort of used that as inspiration, just with the duplicate rings, and put my own twist on it with the way that the sort of cup of the headphone was extruded beyond, and so on. But certainly a saxophone, I just couldn't find any saxophone I liked. So to me, I thought it was, I seek inspiration from others. So
it was also put together in the same kind of palette as well. We'll often refer it to as a font. So although you've got 4 unique items, they were of the similar styling that you'd made them as well. And sometimes that's hard to find the right inspiration, because we'll do the same. You've got a bit of a challenge. You do a bit of a kind of an internet search, and you might find a great whatever that's been made, but actually its counterpart you can't make in the same style. So you have to kind of find something that works for all of the things that you're making. But that particular one that you did was great. In the fact that they did.
I've actually always dreamed of some sort of an online library, right? That is sorted by theme, category, whatever, where people share and collaborate, because it can be quite difficult to find, especially with so many mediums like Instagram and Facebook and Pinterest and all these different areas where people are sharing their work, which is great. But then you've got to go on all these different platforms, try some keywords out, and it's quite difficult to seek inspiration. And
they always had it for the Twisting World. They had something many years ago.
Balloon HQ.
Balloon HQ. Yeah. So from the Twisting World, and it was a subscription, and people could join in and collaboratively work, and it was good for a lot of years.
We've just launched on the School of Balloons, on our new platform. We've just launched the forums on there, and it might be something that we could do in the future is start doing a library of different items, so it makes it a lot easier to find, and then do it as a collaborative with, the heavens have just opened out here. It's like literally just the heavens have opened outside. Yeah. So we could potentially do something on there on the forums and have it so that it's a user input as well as the stuff that we play.
And I'm sure people who are proud of their work, who want to help because they feel like they're giving back to the help that they've received, could also offer a small little info on how they did it or something.
Yeah.
That, to me, I think this industry is yearning for that. But I should add as well, I find it really, really important to never carbon copy.
No.
Add your own twist, try and improve on, and that helps develop the industry at large.
It's like you said before, it's inspired by. It's taken the idea, even going back to what we were saying about the WBC Décor, you were inspired by what you saw on stage at the Aladdin.
Mm-hmm. It's a stepping point to get you into sort of your mind flowing down that route. So we'll do the same thing of just looking for outside influence and also balloon related influence, and then kind of mix that in with things we've done in the past that worked well or would scale up or scale down.
I think that the one project that I did the most research was the T-Rex skeleton for Blow Up. Blow Up season 2, if you saw that. Pretty much all in Mocha Brown, and I think it was Mark Verge had done quite a few.
The dinosaurs,
and the T-Rex skeleton, and full credit to him, amazing work. And that was years and years and years ago, and he was doing it by himself. But I had a team, and we had 24 hours plus R&D time and all the rest of it. So that I really deep dove, and I want to credit, and I did at the time. All the people, I think Brendan Ord as well helped out on a few. But anyway, look, it's wonderful that a lot of people don't want to share, but we as an industry just won't grow if that's the case. Without the printing press, authors and so on would never have been able to and scientists would never be able to work off the to leap off the past work of others, and that's where we are now. And I think the last 10 years in particular has seen such a boom in our industry because of that, because of those who share.
Yes.
So thank you to everybody, because it's
absolutely
it's a completely different world out there.
Right, we've got to go through a few more. So we've got to go on our next image round. We've got an image here that's been very subtly enhanced.
Tweaked.
Okay,
tweaked would be the word we would use here.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is what you need to do is you need to tell us who,
where,
actually,
and when.
Yeah, who's actually in this photo?
Okay. Okay, I know where we are. So I got this. So I am the left.
Are you?
Zoe Adam Jones, I think, is second.
Zoe, yeah.
It's Tina Giunta in the yellow.
No, you're right. You're right with Tina.
Yeah. Who's in the middle? So obviously you guys are somewhere here, and then who do we have extra there? I'm stuck now.
He's struggling.
4 guys, I don't know. But who was out? So we're out on a boat. We rented a boat. And we've got the crust pizza.
Yeah,
that was great. Collecting the pizza from Sydney Harbour. Yes, we hired a boat and we ordered pizza to the boat. Who else was there on that day? Oh God, I'm embarrassed now. Can you help me out? Can I phone a friend?
So we'll tell you who's there, but you have to pick which one's which then. Okay. So I was there.
And I was there.
And Keith was there. And then we had Cam's good husband, Jim.
Jim and Cam. Okay.
And
so Cam
also we had a Rupert with us as well.
Okay. Well, Rupert was there, was he? In this photo? No.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, no, hold on, but that doesn't, the numbers, okay. I reckon Rupert's wearing Jack Daniels. Cam's middle, Jim's to the left of her, to our right as we look at it. And geez, Dom and Keith, I don't know, guys. I'm going to go Dom middle, top, Keith bottom left. Let's
have a look and see.
Let's have a look, see what you could have won.
Jeez, that's a hard one, man.
There we go.
Hey!
Oh, okay, Rupert was left. All right, there you go. If I insulted anybody, then I apologize.
I feel very insulted.
That was a great pizza. That was.
Right, we're going to do 2 more rounds of the images, and then we'll end with a question.
There's a video actually, right, of Dom like walking the tightrope, as it were,
to
collect the pizza.
Because you dropped me off at this sort of old. It was an old pier that was sort of disused, and sort of across this one thin plank. As I'm walking across,
it wasn't a pier; it was the side of a dock area.
Yeah, and it wasn't like finished or derelict.
The swimming pool, like they sort of blocked it off with a grill.
No jellies.
But then I couldn't make it to the beach without having to swim. So two very nice swimmers decided to help. Swam to the shore, got the pizza, brought it down to the beach, swam out to us, gave it to me, and then you thought it'd be funny to kind of pretend that you weren't going to pick me up. Of which I did point out that I've got the pizza and your phone. I'm okay.
Yeah, you'll be right. We're not going to leave you.
Yeah.
That was great. If you haven't been to Sydney, people watching, you need to come because that is literally how people live their lives.
Yeah. It was the fact that the delivery drivers, so where are you? We're
on a boat.
We're on a boat. But where? Here.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Next picture. Chris, what are you doing?
It's hard.
What are you doing?
Okay, I'm showing off my beer belly, clearly.
Yeah.
No, so I just bought a car, and there's that famous ad where you're jumping up for joy. So this would have been the, I think it was the Hiace, Toyota Hiace.
Let's have a look, see if he's right.
Let's have a look to see if you are right.
Two vans in the last couple of years. There it is. Oh, look at that belly. Yeah, that's a good jump, though.
It was a
good jump.
I was proud of that jump.
We edited out the trampoline that's just underneath.
I mean, to be fair, you didn't jump any higher than you normally are. You've just lifted your legs.
Right, we've got one more image, and then we're going to end with a question. We're going to end with some tips for anybody starting out in the balloon world, okay? So, are you ready? You've got to answer where you were and what's going on.
Here we go.
Good times. You know, I've still got that shirt and that hat. So this is WBC. The entire Australian congregation decided to dress up as lifeguards as we came into the what was it? There was the second event, right? There was fancy dress. What was it called? The second event. Anyway,
it was the beach
Stuart
party.
Davies did a day. Oh no, it wasn't Stuart. Did Stuart do a decor for that one? The surfboard and the
was it Federico?
There's some different areas.
Yeah, I think it was a collaboration.
Yeah. Anyway,
Federico did the
we all
surfboard
bit, but then Stuart.
We entered the room as one, and there was some sort of a lifeguard scene going on, and good night.
Yeah.
Okay, now where am I?
Yeah,
but that specific photo, yes.
So I think Jag is about 3 rows to my right, is he not, from memory?
Yeah,
maybe. Who else?
So where are we? Look, if you have a few drinks, then you have to relieve yourself somewhere. And if all the ladies can do selfies in the toilet, then why can't the boys?
There we go.
There it is. Look how happy Jag is. I remember that photo for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
He's like, mate, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, we were kind of on the same page, but then Jack's like, hang on. Really? That was a really good...
My arm up too high.
That was a great event, but the atmosphere that you guys, as a Australian contingent, brought to that room was fantastic.
That was great.
Yeah, that was ace.
San Diego.
Collective fancy dress.
If we can only have another WBC, that would just... amazing.
That was some event, that one. Yes,
certainly was. Right, okay. Yeah. Last question before we let you go, because we nearly got the end of our half an hour.
Yeah, we said half an hour, Chris. I told you.
Yeah. It's gone very quickly.
If you were good to if you could go back in time and meet your younger self and you were going to give them advice about when you're starting off in the balloon industry, or giving advice to anybody that's starting out in the industry right now, what do you reckon the top advice would be?
Oh, I wish I had time for this question, because it's a really good one and very important. Truth be told, I've never actually given it a huge amount of thought until now. So, like,
we put you on the spot.
It's the idea.
Yeah. So, because you're essentially asking, what did I do wrong as well, right?
Yeah.
If I could go back and say, don't do this and don't do that. That's the advice I would tell myself, and certainly the advice I would like to give others. I think having a good understanding of business, like I did a course at what's called TAFE. So it's like an adult education institution and run by the government. And that was very helpful. I grew up in a family of business owners, so I always had people I could talk to. But understanding what makes a successful business, doesn't matter what the medium, is very, very important. So don't blindly jump in and just buy a business, right? Yeah. And a lot of people that they're not sure what they're buying. They've never had a business before. They're just exceptionally excited. Slow down, take a minute, and sort of understand what you're getting into. But so in my journey that I was talking about before, and this is a bit of a rabbit hole. I apologize, because I know time's against.
That's right.
The first 8 years, 6-7 years, I was a businessman, and I wasn't exceptionally passionate about it. And I think my business was lagging because I wasn't passionate about the industry. So the second thing I would have told myself was, go to a balloon convention sooner. Okay? You cannot teach yourself everything. Of course, I learned through my mum and her staff, and many years that was I there. But I assumed it was enough. And little did I know that there was so much out there, this giant can that was yet to be opened. And I met Guido Verhoef, and I met a few people in the first convention, Tope. And I was just like, wow, everything changed. And the sort of the beginning of that sort of golden age for me of creativity, which lasted, good 10 years all the way through to organics, I think really propelled my business to that tiers 3 and 4, right? Where, and I've said this before, perhaps to you guys, where by loving what I do more and wanting to be better creatively, the money followed, right? So I knew how to have a business and a retail business and all the rest of it. But by pushing myself, took me and my business to a next level in our market. And event coordinators and stylists started to take note. And they're the ones that had the big money, not the mums and dads. Yes. And all of a sudden, I was someone that they desired to work with because of my work. So if I wish I could have done that earlier, I don't regret the journey, and I think it's been important.
It's the thing is, because we would say something similar in the fact there's education side. So on both sides of the business, we did something very similar in the fact that we did a business course, and we went through a mentoring program as well, where we actually got some business leaders to come in and basically bombard us with all of this.
And I stress knowledge. Your point as well, that it doesn't matter the medium at this point as well, because anything you do that has the fundamentals of business in, you can transition that core principle into whatever business type you want. So get those fundamentals in place, then transition onto
because you had this solid foundation of your business and then brought the passion into it, it was ready to grow with that, and it was ready to take off. Whereas if it didn't have either, then it's going to have some problems,
some
right?
Amazingly creative people
that fail.
That are failing because they haven't got those core
business foundations.
And nothing saddens me more to see very creative people working hard, because that's the third thing. You have to work hard, right? You got to give it everything, at least for the first, whatever percent until you're up and rolling with stuff. You got to work your butt off. Now, it pains me to see so many people work so hard and they're so creative, but they give up after a couple of years because you got to pay the rent. So, that whole triangle. And obviously, so thankful to guys like yourselves who are offering education online in a wonderful format. So thank you for that. But certainly to be face-to-face with like-minded people and to ask those little subtle questions, holding balloons, was something I waited too long for.
And the networking side with that as well. For us, it's very much you can go to education and have that class, but we'll always stress if you can come away with one golden nugget, that one little bit of advice, tip, trick, whatever it may be, but that comes a lot of it from the the general networking that you're doing at these events. And it could be in class, but it could be speaking to someone who you've sat next to in class, a conversation strikes, and you get the best idea to springboard your business. And there's so many people that will talk and share at these events.
Absolutely.
So face-to-face, we still love. We are advocates of the old online world, absolutely. But
nothing beats face-to-face.
Face-to-face, we're still so solid on. So yes.
Well, I can't wait to meet you guys face-to-face again. It's been far too long. Even longer than Colin, I think. So I don't know when that'll be, but it's...
Well, we did like our Australia trip, so we must put that back on the agenda.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Or the next time you're over in the UK.
Yeah, would love to.
And I think as well we'll be allowed to hire a boat again now, won't we? That whole situation's been cleared up. Yeah.
Well, I think you've been kind enough to me. We might make that happen. Actually, my brother has a share in a boat, so we can borrow that thing. So
do we just have to have his part, or can we take the whole boat?
Yeah, his part.
Yeah.
2.5 life jackets.
Do you remember when we all decided to jump off the boat and swim to shore? And it was a glorious day as well. It was absolutely beautiful day. But then we all jumped in. You were,
well, what actually happened was for me was I put my mask and snorkel at the back of the boat, and my idea was I was going to jump on the side of the boat because that's the best place to jump in, and then swim round to the back, pick up my mask and snorkel in and have a look around. And as soon as I hit the water, I realized I was swimming as fast as I could to the shore because the water was so cold.
It was the middle of winter. That's as cold as it gets.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
It's definitely fresh.
Right, we'll let you go because it's what time is it there, Chris?
10:05, but I'm in no rush. But I appreciate you. We've pushed that half an hour, haven't we?
We have pushed that half an hour by an extra 5 minutes. Thank you very much. A huge thank you to you, Chris, and
until we speak again.
For being a good sport as well. And
no, guys, I love what you do. Love being on the here too. There's been all these chit chats coming through. I'll have a little read later. Yeah. But I get so inspired by what you guys do. I get so inspired by the people you interview, and to be one of them is a huge honor. So I hope people have learned a thing or two, had a laugh. My door is always open. If anybody has any questions about any of the work that I've done or anything at all, DM me on Facebook. Always love hearing from you guys.
Awesome. Really appreciate that, Chris, as always.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, and bye-bye for now.
Till the next time. Ciao for now, Chris.
Thank you. Ciao.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mr. Adamo.
Yes.
We really appreciate, and as I'm sure that our viewers do as well, appreciate his time.
Absolutely. So we are going to say goodbye for now. If you haven't had a chance, you can pop yourself over to the School of Balloons, which is qcorner.app, or you can go now to schoolofballoons
live from today.com.
So schoolofballoons.com. If you want to have a look at our other platform, they can have a look at.
Yes.
Huge thank you to all of our subscribers. If you're not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button, drop a like. It really helps getting the message out to everybody else. Absolutely. And leave comments. If you do have any questions in the background, like Chris said, you can always contact him directly, or you can drop it to us and we shall pass it on to Chris.
Yes. So thank you very much for joining in, and until the next time.
Bye-bye for now.
Ciao for now.